Hey everyone, how are you? Dr. Jason Pape, chiropractor extraordinaire, coming at you live right here on Facebook in two spots as well as on YouTube. So, for those of you who don't know me, Dr. Jason Pape, as it shows right there, as Vincent took it away, or as I pointed at it, that is me. That is I. If you've never seen me before, please put number one in the comments below. Let me know where you're watching from. If you have seen me before and you've come back for more, please drop a number two in the comments below. So, I'm here every week on Monday. It used to be Monday, Wednesday all the time, but now I'm at least Mondays. And Motivation Monday is what we used to do always on Mondays. So we do motivation, inspiration, education, information on the regular. And tonight we went back to Motivation Monday. And this is what we're going to talk about tonight, folks. The power of positive self-talk. So it's kind of an important thing. This is how we talk to ourselves is very important. And how we talk about things we want in our life and how we talk about what we expect to feel about our, what we want to have and not have. We tend to have a very negative focus in our language. And I'm going to talk about how that works against you and how we can work on that. So again, we're going to do the power of positive self-talk. So as you guys jump on here, please put number one in the comments below if you've seen me before. I've never seen it before, and two, if you have come back for a second or more viewing. Let me get back to the chat. What does the chat say? Okay, so let's get started. So a lot of times we frame things that we want, or more so, we frame things how we don't want in our lives, because that's kind of how we've learned. All right? It's not like, hey, I don't want to be, I want to be healthy. It's, hey, I don't want to be sick, or I don't get sick, or I don't want to get sick, right? That's we say that a lot, especially this time of year when it's cold and things like that. Like, I don't want to get sick, right? When unfortunately, that's not the way to put it. It's more like, I want to be healthy. All right, and I'll explain what the difference, because you might say, well, those are really the kind of the same thing, Doc. Well, I'm going to say they are, but they're not. Okay? So the subconscious mind, the thing that kind of drives the train at the end of the day, is very almost literal, if you will. It really only focuses on the object of a sentence. All right. So if you're saying, I don't want to be sick, what is the focus? What is the object of that sentence? Really, the object is, I don't want, the focus of that sentence is, I don't want to be sick. So sick is the thing you don't want, correct? But the subconscious mind doesn't hear the don't, okay? It just hears sick. So if you keep focusing on not being sick, you're really just focusing on the sick part, and you're more likely to manifest that in your, sorry, I'm just pointing at something on the floor over there, manifesting you not looking forward to be getting sick. Now, if you say, I want to be healthy, well, there's really nothing wrong with that, right? The focus point of that conversation or that point is to be healthy. What's up, Lena? So does that make sense? If that makes sense, feel free to put a number 3 in the comments below. Hit that like or love button. And if you're just coming in late, you're coming in live a little bit late here. We haven't gotten too far. You haven't missed anything yet. So I need y'all to understand that first concept, right? Because that's one of the most important things to manifesting anything positive in your life. Awesome, Lena, is to understand that concept, because we have been trained for so long to talk about what we don't want to happen. And it's funny. It's actually sometimes a lot easier to describe things you want as like not having a negative thing versus a positive thing. All right. So people, they don't want to be fat. They don't want to be poor. And they talk with these negative words. And if we look at it, there's so many negative words we constantly tell ourselves every time we talk. We're like, hey, you want something, right? And maybe it's out of your price range at this point for whatever reason. And people sometimes have this negative mindset where they'll say, no, I really want that thing, but I'm broke, right? Or I can't afford that, right? So that negative talk thing. It could be true. You may have nothing in the bank. It may be outside of your price range right now. But if you keep telling yourself things like this, that's not a positive thing either. So we'll talk a little more about that too, because it's not just about understanding the difference in the negative and the positive, about how to frame that and how you constantly have that talk to yourself, that power of positive talk. We have one slide tonight. I'm just going to go back and forth to the same slide over and over again. Is this, you guys making some sense of what I'm saying? If you are, just that like or love button again. Let's see some things floating across the screen there. The red, white, and blue of love and likes. Okay. And by the way, if you think anyone might benefit from this video, please feel free, I can't speak the words, to share this out. Put it on your page, by message, a group of the post, whatever. We'd love to hear more from you. So let's keep going. So it's very important. So there's many techniques out there that help you to try to manifest. There's things like even Psych-K, which is a technique that we use, muscle testing, and find negative beliefs in the subconscious and energy work to help balance them. And one of the things about this technique that you have to do is you must always frame a question to the subconscious, because you're asking the subconscious question and you're muscle testing to see if it's strong for it. I'm just giving you very high points of Psych-K. Is you always have to frame a question in the positive. So if you're trying to get something to go away that you're dealing with, you always have to frame it positive. Sometimes people have trouble figuring that out because they can learn the technique, but a lot of times it's about that way of saying those words. And a lot of these techniques like this is about detective work, and you have to kind of use positive language when you deal with the subconscious. Because again, the subconscious doesn't hear the no. So if you're using the wrong kind of programming for your subconscious, you may not get the result you're looking for. All right. So it takes time, it takes work. It takes, you have to constantly be thinking about what you're saying to other people about yourself and to yourself in your own self-talk. Because let's face it, folks, we're not very kind to ourselves, right? If someone talked to you or your family the way you talk to you, you knock someone's lights out, right? You would never tolerate someone speaking to you the way you speak to yourself. But we do it all the time, all day long. Now, listen, that doesn't mean you should let yourself off the hook for anything you do that's not proper. But how you frame it when you do something that's not great or something that doesn't work out for yourself is kind of what perpetuates whether you do or do not manifest the things you want in the future. So, if you make a mistake in, I don't know, let's think about this. So you're doing some kind of accounting work at your office, and okay, here's a great example. So at the end of the day, my staff has to look at our day sheet, right, and make sure that we have all the right number of patients listed and how much they paid and the credit cards and the cash, and they all have to add up. But if they made a mistake, right, and then they were trying to correct it, and then they did it a couple of times, they're like, "Oh, I always screw this up." Well, while in that may be kind of a true statement, right? Because they've done it a few times, or maybe it happens repetitively. But is that really true? Is that really a good thing to be telling your own brain over and over again, that you always screw something up? Because guess what? If you keep saying that, you have a belief that that's the case, and you're just going to perpetuate that belief, and then you're going to get that result more and more. So it's a lot of people say, "Well, that's not, I know what you're saying, Doc, but those things are true. Like, why you can't just ignore them?" Well, no, we're not saying we ignore that, but at times you have to talk to yourself in a way where you have to understand that we're all fallible, we're all human, and that even if something happens regularly to you, if you keep every time you say that it happens like that, you're reinforcing that negative belief because of the way you're talking to yourself about it. Every time I go on a diet, something happens and I fall off the diet. Every time I go on a diet, there's always a party, and I always eat bad, and I lose, it doesn't work for me. Well, while that may have happened numerous times to you, if you keep saying that, what's the belief system? The belief system is that every time you go on a diet, something like it's going to happen, and maybe you're kind of manifesting those things into your life. Now, if you're not really that big on understanding manifesting it, you might not understand what I'm saying. You might go, "Well, that's ridiculous." That doesn't mean, so you're saying every time I go on a diet, I'm going to have a party because that's what I manifested myself. I couldn't control so-and-so having a party. It's not, you'd be surprised what you can bring to yourself. But also it's about understanding what those pitfalls may be and how to kind of navigate them and not just fall prey to them because this is what always happens. But if you keep telling yourself that this story, this negative self-talk story about what will happen if, well, what do you think's going to happen every time that happens? Well, it's going to happen. You kind of let yourself off the hook. You're kind of setting yourself up for your own failure. All right. This is making sense so far, guys, and you're still watching here, drop that 4 in the comments below. If you've come in late and you're like, what is this guy talking about? Well, here's what we're talking about, folks. The power of positive self-talk. The way that we talk to each other about, or talk to ourselves, all right, about the things we want and about how we view ourselves, right? So we want to always make sure that we are treating ourselves as how we want other people to be, how you want to treat someone else. I would imagine that, again, we talk about being nicer to yourself and having the good self-positive talk. So a lot of times, if you, especially someone you don't know, right? When you don't know someone, sometimes you're nicer to them than someone you even do know, right? Because you know they know you, they'll forgive you. But someone new, you can make good impression. So when's the last time you talked to yourself that way, right? When's the last time you talked to yourself with the kindness you might give a stranger at the deli and you hold the door open for them, right? Or they were trying to reach the old lady at the grocery store and trying to reach something on a shelf and you get it for her and put it in her cart. Like, I mean, those are nice things to do, but do you treat yourself similarly? Do you give yourself that same generosity? Most of us do not. My dog's over here eating his food and walking through it and then falling over because he's a goofball. But anyway, it's funny, but Zorn, now he just stepped on his food, went everywhere. It's literally like a comedy show here. Just put the food back in his plate, it'll be fine. And they're like, ew, it's chicken, don't touch it. It's bad over there. I don't know what's going on. I think they've never touched food before. Just put it back in his plate. Anyway, sorry, a little side chatter. So again, let's recount and recoup for those people who have not came in a little bit late. We want to make sure that we're always framing things about ourselves or things we want in a positive and not having something like the not negative version, because your brain doesn't hear the not, it just hears the focus of that topic, which is the object of that conversation, which is either positive or negative, no matter how you frame it with a no or a yes. So again, we always want to make sure, and again, think about the word you're using. Sometimes it's like you want to use other words that are not saying no, but they're still negative versions of a word. I'm trying to think of a good example right now. I'm not having a great recall of one, but it'll come to me because I'm positive that they will. But sometimes, again, when you're trying to frame these things for yourself, it's hard to do that. And then again, how do you talk to yourself, right? Do you treat yourself with the same kindness you treat a stranger? All right? Because again, like I said before, if you treat yourself, if you heard the way you treat yourself and someone else treated you that way, you would not tolerate that very well. All right, but we do it all the time. And the more we tell those stories to ourselves, the more we have these negative self-talk, the more we drive these negative beliefs into our subconscious, and the more harder it is to actually bring good things into our lives. All right. So one thing I want to bring into my life is more followers. So see what it says right there in the top corner? I'm trying to, there we go. That little code there. That's our link tree. You can follow us on all our socials, right? Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. So if you haven't done that yet, please give us a little like and a follow. We really appreciate it. And as always, another way to help us out is to share the love. Put it on your page, private message, group, in a post, whatever. That's awesome, Lena. That's what you should be doing, right? Practicing, what did I just say to myself? Listen, we're not all perfect. It's not going to be perfect every day. The more you strive to it, the better you can manage it. And then the more you do, it becomes a habit, right? Doing it one time today is not going to be the answer forever, but you have to start one day and do it over and over again. And the more you do it, the less likely you are to say the negative to yourself. And the better you're going to get at reframing things, right? That's what you're saying, Lena, is reprogramming as soon as you can. So if any of you are out there and want to and have this negative thoughts that you're constantly having, or this way you talk to yourself, like I don't want to be sick, like I don't want to get sick, that kind of thing, and you have one of those things you feel like you say to yourself all the time, but you're just not really sure the best way to frame it, put it in the comments below. I'm more than happy to kind of just help you reshape that. And sometimes it's challenging. Let me tell you, the more you do this, the better it gets. So like I am not a Psych K practitioner, but I do work with a lot of them, and we do host trainings here. If anyone's interested in learning this technique, it's really cool. We do the basic training here again. We're going to do it in October of this year, October 10th through 12th. We have amazing practitioners, including one that does that here. It's just another way to clean things from the subconscious. So, and then you can even do it remotely if you want. But sometimes it's helping. They learn the technique, and it's a lot about the algorithm and how to work the technique. But sometimes the hardest part, again, is to know how to say the right question, to do the detective work. So, and I happen to be really pretty good at getting the framework of the wording right for people. So I'm really kind of helpful with that. So if you ever require, you can always private message me if you'd like to help as well. But that's a really important thing. It's like, if you're goal setting, how are your goals written? Are they finite and are they achievable? Yes, but are they also written in a positive format of what you want to achieve, not what you don't want to have happen, right? If you are focused on improving your financial status, yet you're looking at your bank account and you're seeing lack, or you're thinking about what you don't have, you'll continue to not have it, right? What's up, Tom? And yes, Lena, the key is to become more present. And again, that's a great, it's a great point, Lena. So she made a point about being more present. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, present means being here in the moment, right? And when you are mindful and in the moment of what you're doing and being there completely, not in a million other places, your head can be in the right place to focus better on what you want and how to phrase these things and to bring the good into your life, right? So like right now, hopefully you guys are all present on my Zoom, but present in paying attention. If you're on the Zoom right now and you're like, let me scroll through my phone on the side, or not my Zoom, my live, whatever it is, and you're like, oh, let me eat my dinner. And sometimes you're not present. You're not present with your food. You're not present with the video. You ever hear mindful eating, right? How many of you are eating on the go? You're eating while you're driving your car, putting your makeup on, and using your, I don't put makeup on usually, but using your knee to drive the old steering wheel, right there. You got the knee up, and you got the coffee in one hand and the eye curl on the other. Are you present when you're driving? You're present with your food? Any of those things. Mindful eating is being present while you do it. And if you can do that, you can think more positively because your brain is in the right place because you're in the moment of what you're doing. And if you want to manifest the best outcome, you're always better to be more present so you can be more positive. So I appreciate you throwing that in there. So yeah, that's what we want to talk about. So again, it's about understanding too and catching ourselves, talking to ourselves. One thing about how you talk to other people about yourself, it's because you're never as harsh then, but what goes on in here, man? The things that we say to ourselves sometimes, especially when things don't work out the way we want them to, can be pretty harsh. Especially when people have an issue with body image and how much they kind of hate their body in certain areas. Well, what do you think that energy does when you focus it negatively on certain areas of your body and things like that? If you don't like your hips or your waist or whatever, and you hate it, right? Well, what is that going to bring to you? Well, that's not positive focus, right? It's negative focus on a part of the body. It's definitely going to help improve that area. If you learn to love what that is and then focus on the positive ways to change that thing for yourself, well, maybe you can make a difference in where that weight goes on in the body or how you perceive yourself. Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's really hurting is you. What's up, Lydia? Right? If you don't like the way something looks on you, but you'll hide it and cover it up and never go out because of it, are you really living your life? Is people seeing it the same way you do? Probably not, because you see things through a distorted lens. If you even notice what you're seeing, and then you see people who maybe go out there and maybe have a similar issue, but they don't even think about it, right? And it's like, well, what? Because they're comfortable enough in their own skin, they're not worried about what other people think, and they just care about what they think, and they're not focused negatively. So it could be the same exact thing. Two people could have a similar thing they don't like. One person doesn't like about themselves, the other person doesn't think about it so much. And guess who's going to live the more fun-free life, right? These are really all important stuff. So for those of you who don't know me and have come in late, all right, I'm going to grab this right here. I am Dr. Jason Pape, chiropractor extraordinaire. I am the owner of the Vitality Center, your one-stop holistic shop right here in Hauppauge, New York. If you are on Long Island or anywhere nearby, this is the place to be. Not only do I help my patients with all the physical stuff and all the chemical stuff that goes on in their bodies naturally, I can also help a little bit with this part here. And I also have great practitioners in the practice that can help with that too. So helping to work on these things. And again, if you want some more information about where to reach us, there's our information, the Vitality Center, there's our phone number, there's our email, and our website is vitalitycenterli.com. So we'd love to see you. And now I've been here every Monday night, somewhere between 7:30 and 8:30, we go live, bringing you education, information, motivation, inspiration on the regular. So I hadn't done a little Motivation Monday in a while, so I felt like this was a good night to do that. So unless you guys have any other questions, I'm going to probably bid you a farewell this evening and not keep you on too long. Hopefully I gave you some good hints and some good keys. But what I will ask you to do before you leave is hit that link tree at the top corner there. And once you follow us on some of our socials there, let me see if I can actually put our ticker on here. Boop, boop, boop. There it is. And if you're on ticker, there's all our socials too. If you want to jump on some of those, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, which hopefully we'll see on our YouTube. We have a Rumble. We got it all. And follow us. And I hope to help you, learn more from as you go. And if you came in late, please jump on the replay and watch this again. And as always, please share the love. Put this out to your friends, family, whatever it may be. Grab someone by the hair, and if they don't have hair, but like I don't, like grab them by the back of their neck and shove them in front of the screen. Let them watch it. I think a lot of people just need to understand this. And like I said, if you would like me to help you out with some stuff, feel free to drop it in the comments or even just message me directly, and I'll do my best to help. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. That's really imperative. No, I did not get to order. Nothing new popped up there. Hey, Joey. Oh, my pleasure. Good to see you again, too, up there in Canada. And I'm glad I helped you through the COVID times. If those of you who've known me that long or longer, I was one of your only places to get the good COVID information, the truth about COVID. But I'll get the order for you this week, Lydia. So anyway, I'm going to bid you all a farewell. I hope you all have a great night, and I will see you all in the next video. And